Good morning, this is Dominic with TheBackVlog. Recently, I finished Season 4 of Dragon Ball, and I'm now in the home stretch of Dragon Ball. It's been a little while since I've recorded anything, so I'm actually already halfway through Season 5, so I'm almost done. This season, as you can see, is the introduction of King Piccolo, the Demon King Piccolo, and you have the iconic first encounter between Goku and Piccolo in this season. You know, having grown up with Dragon Ball Z, I always saw Piccolo as like the moody mentor of Gohan, and always was kind of like confused. Well, not confused. Like I wasn't confused by everybody on the Kame Island at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z being scared of Piccolo. I just always acknowledged that there was something that I was missing, because I always knew that, you know, Dragon Ball Z was a continuation. So I never knew like what actually happened. But now that I have this greater context where the evil Demon King Piccolo isn't even the same Piccolo that's in Dragon Ball Z. I didn't even know that. You know, his relationship with Kami, how it's basically like the evil half of Kami. I never really knew that either. Are you sneezing? Are you gonna sneeze? It just kind of like, it finally like puts the pieces together in my understanding of this series, because it's like watching a show halfway through it and having that be your only exposure to it for decades. It just adds so much more context. This season went by really quickly, I feel like. I don't know if it's like because I went through it that quickly or what. I don't really remember too much filler. But yeah, it's like, you know, at the end of the second tournament arc, Krillin is killed by Tambourine, I think it is. That's one of the demon underlings, and like it goes right into the Piccolo saga, like with no breathing whatsoever. It just happens, and it's insane like how quickly it happens. I think the way that it builds tension is really interesting, because you know, they all hatch a plan to, you know, get the Dragon Balls together. So while Roshi and the gang are getting the Dragon Balls, Goku and Piccolo are fighting at some point, and one of them each has a Dragon Ball. And the way that it's kind of like, you know, building this tension, like while the gang is like going over there, you're wondering, while Piccolo is giving him a hard time, Goku I mean, if they're actually gonna make it there in time. And I think that's really well done. Whenever Piccolo eventually wishes for his youth, his eternal youth, and then he ends up killing Shenron, that adds so much more of a tension that I never even really knew happened. And you know, it makes everything so much more dire, the fact that they can't really hatch their plan of saving everybody at this point now. And I thought that was really cool. Well, not cool, it wasn't cool. I don't know, it's either cool or interesting or weird. Those are my three adjectives all the time. Once Piccolo gets his eternal youth, I think it's really funny, because his plan is basically just like that of Joker, you know, the Batman villain, where despite the fact that Piccolo is an evil demon king who can hatch evil demon underlings from his mouth through egg hatching, he decides that his best course of action to aid his ruling of the planet would be to just let out petty criminals from prison and, you know, let them do their bidding. And it's like, it's so funny, because Piccolo is capable of so much more, but you know, he just releases these dudes from prison, and I don't know, it's just funny. I also thought this season was interesting because it was the introduction of Yajirobe as well. And, you know, I was never really particularly a fan of Yajirobe, but seeing him and, you know, build his relationship with Goku and seeing his physical strength, it kind of like does make me appreciate the character more, because, you know, growing up, I never really particularly cared for Yajirobe too much. So I thought that was really cool. This was a solid arc. And I'm really happy to say that I'm in the final tournament arc now. After filler episode upon filler episode of training with Mr. Popo, I'm in the training arc now, or the tournament arc now, and I'm really excited to see how that gets handled, especially now that Piccolo's back. The end of the arc, Piccolo is like, the Demon King Piccolo is like, oh, I'm not done yet, and he vomits an egg, and Piccolo Jr.'s in it, and Piccolo Jr. Hatches, and that's the end of season 4 of Dragon Ball. It's it's entertaining, to say the least.